Hello, 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 everyone. This is Kathy. I'm here today to begin a new journal. It's going to be a fantasy troll journal. And today I'm going to make a 3D cover for the journal. And here's what we'll be doing. Adding some elements that I put on foam stickers. So if you want to join me in this creating of a journal, there'll be a few episodes for it. And let's start. First of all, the paper for this cover is from LuminoirArt. It's called Hidden Forest. And then we also have some trolls, and they're from DreamWesversRealm. And I will put that in the description box. Okay, first of all, what I do when I'm doing a cover that has some 3D elements is I print out 2 pieces of paper, and I'm using medium weight cardstock. And because I'm only going to use one side of the paper, I'm cutting it in half, which I've already done, so that I end up with something that looks like this. I think this is the most beautiful paper. Then what I'm going to do, I look at it and decide, well, what pieces would look good in 3D? And I'm going to decide it's the book, and then maybe a few of the mushrooms, and then perhaps this center light with the branch coming down. So that's what I do. And with the second page that I've cut out, excuse me, I'm going to cut out the book, the mushrooms, and the little lantern. I'm going to set this aside for a moment. And going to cut out the book. I do have some ink on hand, some distress ink in scorched timber, so that I can make sure the edges aren't white. And often I'm inspired by the papers that I use, that I find, and that's what happened with me for this one, is I just found this paper as I was looking through Etsy, and I thought, oh, this is so pretty. So I've cut out the book. I'm going to set that aside. And when you're cutting, you can choose to be really fussy cut this and go very closely around. Excuse me. Or you can do a more freestyle cut. I do a combination, really. So I'm first going to cut these mushrooms. So I'm not going right up to it, but I am cutting the shape out pretty much. Especially on the larger pieces. And you'll be proud of me for doing this, because I'm not a lover of fussy cutting. Some people love it. They think it relaxes. It's relaxing. Not me. But a girl's got to do what a girl's got to do, right? Okay. And I'm going to use this cluster of mushrooms, etc. As you can see, I'm doing just a rough cut around it. And granted, because this paper is so dark, it's much easier to do a rough cut. It's not like I'm dealing with paper with a white border. Okay. Now, I'm going to cut out this branch and this lantern. So first I'm going to rough cut around it. Alrighty. And while I'm cutting out the rough cut or the fussy cut piece that I'm using for 3D, I keep in mind the foam that I'm going to put behind it, because you need a big enough, wide enough space to hold the foam tape. Okay. Next thing I want to do is I want to ink around the edges, as we talked about, making sure that there are no white edges showing. I see I need a little trim here. Okay. I'm going to round this a little bit. There we go. Okay, and the book. Alrighty. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take some foam Now, if you don't have foam, you can always take a piece of cardstock and double it up and glue it behind here. I have foam tape. Now, my foam tape is white. You know, you can buy black, which I think is probably better, but this is what I have. So we'll go ahead and use this. And now the first thing I'm going to do is put down the book. Now in the book, I don't want it to just be flat and up. I want it to have a curve to it. So I'm just going to wrap it around my finger a little bit. I'm going to fold it together in the middle and out here. Now I don't like these creases that I'm getting, but okay. So now it's kind of looks like someone's reading it. So let's put some dots on here. I'll put one dot there. And one dot here. I'm going to try to line it up with what's underneath it as best as can be. I want to try to mush it up so that it stands out a little bit. Good. Next, the mushrooms. So we have this, goes over here. And I'm going to try to get the dots in as many places as I can. If I have to trim it, that's okay. One more here. And I'm going to see if I can just darken that a little. Okay, I'm going to try to line it up as best as I can. Sometimes when you ink it, it's not going to stick as well. So, oh, this still has the paper on it. That's why it's not sticking. Silly me. Okay, so we have those two. This probably still has the paper as well. Okay, so we have those two, we have this, and now we have this. Now let's do the lantern. Okay, this is going to hang down here. So there is some spots to put a larger one. There are some spots, not is some spots. Do you ever do that when you're talking on your videos? It's like, my grammar. Let me cut this one. Whoops. Just a bit. Okay. There. And cut this in half as well. Whoops. And I have some little pieces that I can put down at the bottom. Let's see if we can, nope. So as you can see, you have to finagle with these. You don't want them to show. Okay. Okay. And line up, especially the lamp. Okay. And one last one. And I do have some strips that I could use. Okay. Stuck to my finger. trim it. I want to try to get one on either side of the top of the mushroom. So we'll put one here. And there. And one more. Here. And let's do some trimming. And line it up like a puzzle. Next, I know I want to add a troll in here. So what I've done is I've taken an image, and this image was the size of an 8.5 by 11 paper. And I told my printer to print 16 of the images so that reduced the size. And I'm going to take one and I'm going to adhere it to some black cardstock. And I'm going to cut it out. And again, I'm going to do the best I can with the fussy cutting, but I'm not going to worry about all these little stringy pieces, mossy pieces. And that's mainly because I don't want the white to be showing. And I also know I'm only using half of his face. So I'm going to cut it right down the middle. So I don't have to fussy cut the whole thing out. Because I want him just peeping out from behind a mushroom. Make sure I keep the pointy ear. But I'm not going to worry about the little hairy pieces. Okay, next, actually I'm going to get rid of that little leaf. Again, I'm going to ink the edges. Bring back my cover, and I'm going to have him hiding out from behind this mushroom. Okay. Oops. And on him, I don't need a foam strip because he's behind the 3D foam mushroom. Now, I'm going to cut this off because I want his smile to show so that it gives it a whimsical fantasy look. Okay, there he is. I think that makes all the difference. Now, I might be adding some moss and such. Okay, I think that does it for today. I will be adding some glaze here, some blue glaze, and perhaps some frosted glaze to the lights and the little sparklies. And we'll see. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you make your own fairy troll or troll journal with me. Come back for part 2 where we'll be doing the base and beginning the signatures. Have a good one. Bye.